Thinkerers. My goodness, we are just getting started here at Ulster Bosse's in Kingston, New York. We are here for the Deeper Learning Conference, and today we have someone I'm excited to talk to. This is author and founder of the Field of Education for Sustainability and author of Response Able, Jaime Cloud. Jaime, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
So tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about what brings you here to Deeper Learning Conference.
I run the Cloud Institute for Sustainability Education, and we work all over the world, but I now live in upstate New York, and I'm more and more interested in doing work in New York State. And so we have a new mandate now in New York State for climate change education, and I wish it were a mandate to educate for a sustainable future.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting involved in making sure that whatever we do actually educates us for the future we want.
I think it's so important because without this kind of foundational understanding of an environment that is in some ways declining for us and resources being used and an overall state of climate change that's ramping up. We're seeing it every day in the intensity of storms, the heat, the cold. It's just so important that we lay that foundation for our kids in understanding. How do we think that is best handled in your work?
Well, it's an indicator. Climate change is an indicator of global warming. And global warming is an indicator of too much CO2 and greenhouse gases emitted faster than the Earth can absorb it.
Pretty simple.
Which is an indicator
Yeah.
of bad thinking, which is an indicator of outdated education.
Yeah.
And there it is. So think differently, change the world. So what we're saying is, look, what kind of future do we want? Do we want to stabilize our climate? Do we want to reverse global warming and head towards a healthy and sustainable future? If that's the case, then we'll use climate change as that indicator, that one of the many indicators that we have to make a course correction. And so, sure, if you want to understand something about climate change when you're older, the science of it, I think that's fine. But I certainly wouldn't spend 6 weeks with first graders teaching about climate change.
The doom and gloom of climate
No,
change.
why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And it just takes all the energy from their creativity and puts them in a fear state.
Yeah.
And so, stocks and flows. Do you know the concept of stocks and flows, like what we call bathtub thinking?
Yeah.
In this case, the CO2 is the stock. The faucet's too big and the drain is too small. Close down the faucet, open up the drain, done.
Yeah.
That's what little kids need to know.
No, I know. And that's a great lesson, right? That's a great metaphor.
Yeah. And you can use that for your savings account too.
Yeah. That's super funny. But, again, a great metaphor. And I think that is part of, especially in early childhood, a great way to land powerful messages like that.
Yeah.
We work at Thinkering Collective, we work a lot with educators on the ground. We have an entire fellowship around outdoor. So some of the easiest ways that you can help manage things like hyperactivity, all of that, is get kids outside.
Yes.
What we found in that is a lot of teachers having this need to build outdoor learning classrooms, outdoor gardens, yet we see pushback from a lot of district and school leaders based in what you said, which is fear. So even translating that fear up to adults, how do we break through? How do we through with, our district leaders that are easily saying no when a school just wants to do a compost program?
So I think the fastest way to get to school leaders and administrators in that way is to show them the data.
Yeah.
Place-based education, connection to place, is the number one predictor of student achievement, as well as engagement in civic activities and belief in their own self-efficacy. There's so much data on the value of doing that. And when they see that it's better for students,
exactly,
then they'll go for it. The other thing you need to do, of course, is work very closely with the maintenance department, because they usually end up having to take care of it.
We know this. Yeah.
Yes. And so if they, and when people say, oh, the kids and the teachers will take care of it.
Nope.
That doesn't exactly happen all the time, especially over the summer. So you just have to have a plan that has a year-round plan for how is this place going to be taken care of, who's maintaining it, how's it all going to work, is the community going to be allowed to come in over the summer or not? If you have a plan, then they're your first champions. If
That
you don't have a plan, then they'll just say no
it,
because maybe somebody tried it before and the garden went fallow over the summer and it looked terrible, and that's the end of that story.
I mean, you've definitely heard this story, and we've
Yeah.
heard it too. We really try to make what seems impossible possible. That's big in what we
Yeah.
do at Thinkering Collective. When it comes to the data that you look into in sustainable, not only education in classrooms, but sustainability in general, what is like one fact that you learned, or one stat or data point that you learned that really surprised you and hit home in your exploration of this? It doesn't necessarily have to be positive or negative.
Yeah. So it is that our mental models, our cognitive frameworks for the way the world works are quite limited.
Mm,
Actually. And they are informed by our experiences, our culture, even before the womb, while we're still in the womb, which is pretty interesting. And so they become blinders oftentimes. And that's where confirmation bias comes in. So you grow up, if you are not challenged to think about your thinking and to stay open minded by around eighth grade, you might be stuck in that frame and then you can't see anything else outside of that frame. And one of the things we've discovered over time is that people unintentionally contribute to unsustainability because of the frame they're operating with. And the frame prevents them from being able to literally read the feedback, the results of their actions, so that they can take responsibility for them. And so if we can't see the results of our actions and we don't take responsibility for them, that's gonna be a little tough to change in a complex, interdependent world
that,
where most of the results of our actions are removed in time and space and not casually observable.
and there's something I think very powerful, almost beautiful about the idea of, the biggest impact when it comes to climate change and CO2 is kind of manufacturing and pulling that back and all of that. But I feel like there is a value add, or and a significant one, if collectively the public made small choices every day.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. And that's why I like schools and communities learning and working together for the future we want. That's the unit of change. Most municipalities, counties, towns have sustainability plans,
Yep.
but they never think about engaging the schools and the districts,
Which sounds ridiculous,
which
right?
is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
We have all the children and young people legally required to be with us for a really long time.
Yep.
And we could be educating our kids for the future we want. And we are currently, unfortunately, unintentionally educating for an unsustainable future, which is what my Den Talk is about tomorrow. And I've looked at the standards, looked at curriculum units, and people don't mean to be doing it, but they are. And so we need to at least stop doing that so we can start educating for sustainability.
Well, it's so interesting that you mentioned that. In our outdoor learning fellowship, we found that there are a couple things that are hindrance to great programs getting started, and
Mm.
very few of them are the teachers, right? Is there's this really, got it. She was helping out. I think she gave you some stuff, but, and we can cut that out. But, um, in that outdoor fellowship, we found that like very rarely is the teacher hindrance, but the other piece to it is teachers get scared, talk about fear again, with this idea of how does this map to a standard, these outdoor learning projects and these gardens. And the reality is, if you actually open up the time window of learning and you execute these projects on the ground, you're covering far more in the right direction of like what kids will need 20 years from now than sitting with a sage on the stage barking
Oh,
content
yeah.
at you.
And that sage on the stage cliche has been around since the 60s,
Yeah.
and they're still doing it.
Yeah.
But I think two things about that. One is that, of course, you can map learning outside to state standards, to national standards, to education for sustainability
I
standards.
love it.
That there's, and we are big fans of curriculum documentation and mapping. So I can tell you exactly what kinds of learning outcomes you're going to get and how to assess. Actually, we're doing for Durango Public Schools, we're doing a whole series of garden education
Mhm.
curricula mapped to their state standards. And so the teachers can see what the value of that experience is when they bring the students to the garden. It's absolutely gorgeous
I
because
love
there's
it.
nothing like experiential learning. Uh,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're working with a school district right now rewriting their curriculum contextual in science to outdoor.
oh,
And
nice.
one really shocking thing, and this is the reason that was kind of the catalyst for us doing it with this school district, is we started unpacking their science curriculum, and the first lesson in the first grade curriculum is energy for the sun from the sun, and the first lesson was grab a flashlight. So they're asking you to simulate.
Don't go outside
Don't go
and see
outside.
this.
And I'm a very common sense guy. And I remember sitting in that room with the curriculum writers and going, it's right
It's
there.
right there.
It's always right
Well, and
there.
that's the thing. The more you disconnect children and young people from life, the more disconnected they get. And if you're disconnected, then you can't love or care for something.
Absolutely.
And that it's so basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And connection to place is absolutely foundational to caring for the place.
And we're learning that in spades in our journey of, like, working with educators and really trying to empower them to pull off dream projects in their classrooms. The biggest key there is this buy-in, this stakehold from the entire community, not just
Right.
parents, not just school leaders,
No, everybody.
industry, religious organizations. Like, if you can pull everyone together, you really can help to, and I think this, to really reshape the world in
Yes.
a lot of ways, and I think it's very much needed.
Yes,
I
absolutely. And the academics are great. The disciplines serve a purpose, but they are necessary but not sufficient. If there's no purpose, if there's no goal, if there is no interdisciplinary, if there are no interdisciplinary connections, then you could have a successful, high achieving student who doesn't know anything, who did very well on the tests
so smart.
and is very unhappy because they feel like they were duped.
Yeah.
They did everything that they were asked to do, and they have to start over again.
I ask a dare, because I very much am along your thesis big time, is I ask daring questions a lot to adults and adult educators of, think about your school journey and how much of that knowledge you actually apply in your everyday life.
Yeah. See, I was in the experiment.
Yeah.
So I started in the 6th grade in the experiment in global education in Evanston, Illinois.
Very cool.
And I just saw one of my teachers from our 50th high school reunion. I just saw him. So exciting. But we remember everything. All my colleagues and I remember everything because we were in an experiential global education, interdisciplinary, lots of simulations, lots of field trips and learning journeys in the community. And we do remember everything. And I'm so grateful. I dedicated the book to them, to my teachers, because they made us think. They, there was never a moment where they were standing there talking. And I remember at the end of one year thinking, I've learned so much, but I don't remember him teaching us anything.
Yeah. But that's the best, right?
I
Like,
know.
that's the best to
I
me,
know.
is
I
I
didn't
think,
know how special that was at the time.
and how important it was for you to have that experience at that time in your life where permanent learning is happening
Yeah,
and you're helping to kind of frame your, I
absolutely.
kind of, as you were describing that, one, it's a dream experience, and two, we can learn a lot from that experiment. But, like, bringing the joy back in learning, I think, ironically enough, kids a lot of times go to high quality preschool programs where curiosity is put forward, and we really understand that level in some ways, but it's private a lot of times. But then they hit public school, like so many kids do, and we really do a great job of stifling.
It happens in independent schools too. That's
Yeah.
not a public school thing. That's a
Interesting.
schooling thing. We kill creativity by the 2nd grade, and we have fixed mindset somewhere between 1st and 2nd grade already. And they showed up with a growth mindset, but it's schooling. It's not.
It's the idea. It's that, yeah, it's
It's the time that
the Rockefeller and
the way to organize time. It has no basis in learning
yeah,
literature. It's bus schedules and lunch schedules, and yeah,
line up straight and sit
it's all
down when
that.
I say it. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
Jamie, we could talk forever, and I'd love to have you on a longer form podcast
good.
when we have the time, because I love the work you're doing now that we've talked a little bit. Where can everyone find and purchase this amazing book,
Yeah.
Response Able?
So you can buy it at any of your local bookstores, online in your community. You can order it. You can get it on some of the big online places too. But we think it's great if you can buy it locally.
And it does start with you don't know unless you know, and being exposed to, folks that have done this work for a long time that really understand what's important and powerful in classrooms, relatable to our environment and relatable to sustainability is big time the future. And that's
Yeah,
our work. And we need to be, and it should be the now,
yeah.
right?
And this is for young people and everybody who loves them.
Oh, that's amazing. Jamie, thank you so much. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you having me on the show.
That was
And
fun.
from Ulster BOCES and from the Deeper Learning Conference 2026, we'll see you guys on the next one.